welcome to this session on Introduction to Artificial Intelligence by IIT Kanpur, E&ICT Academy and Edvancer Edventures. Let me quickly take you through the agenda for the day today, and then we'll move on to introductions as to who are our speakers for the day, who is obviously IIT needs no introduction, but who or what is Edvancer, and then we'll get into the core of this session. All right. So initially, allow us a few minutes to introduce the E&ICT Academy, IIT Kanpur and Advancer, and of course ourselves. So along with me, my name is Atish Shah, and along with me, I have Dr. Amay Karkare from IIT Kanpur, and my colleague at Advancer and my co-founder, Mr. Lalit Sachan. After that, we'll go through a brief introduction to artificial intelligence and data analytics. What exactly are these things? What does one do over there? And where do and how do companies actually use it? And where do you see it in real life, right? So that's what we are going to look at. And then we'll talk about its applications in the real world. And then we'll move on to the section in careers, which I'm sure a lot of you would be interested in. At the end of this session, I'll also be introducing the advanced certification programs in AI and data analytics by E&ICT Academy, IIT Kanpur and Advancer. And post that, I'll open up the floor for questions and answers. So given the large number of people in today's session, it would be best to keep the Q&A for later on, where each and every question of yours will get answered by us. So I'll appreciate your patience till then, and I look forward to answering any question you may have at the end once I open up the floor for the same. So initially, obviously IIT Kanpur needs no introduction, but just to reiterate, IIT Kanpur is one of India's top institutions, ranked 4th in India amongst various engineering institutes and amongst the top 100 universities of Asia. And the E&ICT Academy is actually a joint initiative of IIT Kanpur and the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India, where E&ICT Academy is actually mandated to provide industry-focused and industry-driven hands-on programs in the area of electronics and information and communication technologies. About Edvancer. Edvancer is an IIT alumni venture, and what we are is a data science and AI knowledge hub, which is designed to meet the learning needs of all kinds of professionals and data science and AI enthusiasts, be it people who are new to data science, data analytics, and AI, like many of yourselves here, or those who are already in this field and want to upskill and reskill themselves with newer tools and technologies. We are one of India's leading data science and AI training providers, as rated and ranked by various industry, bodies or industry experts. So if any one of you has gone through the very popular Analytics India magazine or Analytics Vidya, you would notice that we are rated as one of India's top 5 training institutes in this field. And over the last 6.5 to 7 years, we have trained more than 7,000 people globally in data science and AI. And they all stand as testament to our capabilities in terms of upskilling and reskilling people into this field and helping them start their careers in it. So who are our speakers for today? So I'll give a brief introduction and then I'll ask Dr. Amay himself to introduce himself. So Dr. Amay Karkare is an associate professor at IIT Kanpur with over 10 years of experience in teaching and research. And prior to teaching at IIT Kanpur, he's also completed 5 years working as an R&D engineer with companies like SAP, and he's a PhD from IIT Bombay. Dr. Amay, would you want to add something to this introduction? I think you are on mute, so you can just unmute yourself and do so.
Yes. So thank you, Atash. Thank you for inviting me into this inauguration session. And this is indeed a privilege that we are getting chance to teach, potentially teach a large number of data scientists, because this is now an area which is most sought after. So AI, ML, data science, whosoever these days means just now JE ranks are out, and I am getting calls from students having ranks beyond where they can get computer science, but they are all interested in if they can get branch X or branch Y and still continue doing something in these areas. Okay, so I will discuss all these things later in the today's discussion, but to introduce myself, yes, so I did my BTech at IIT Kanpur and PhD at IIT Bombay. And the reason to do PhD was I got so much fascinated by compilers and programming languages. And as Atarsh said, I have more than 7 years of experience in industry actually, and most of it in core compiler like technologies. So yeah, my passion is teaching, and especially teaching programming. So I like that, and
Mhm.
we'll pretty soon have larger discussion. Means today we'll be talking for a few minutes here and there, but whenever this course starts and those who will join, and I will be very glad to have a long duration interaction on improving programming skills as well as other things. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ramay. So myself, my name is Atarsh Shah. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Edvancer, and I have over 14 years of experience in both the education management and investment banking sectors. So before starting Edvancer, I worked with global investment banks like Lehman Brothers and Nomura Securities for about 6 to 7 years. And prior to that, I'm a postgraduate in management from IIM Lucknow and also an engineer from Mumbai University. And I'll just invite my co-founder and our head of the data science training vertical, Mr. Lalit Sachan, to introduce himself. Uh, so Lalit, if you can just kindly
Yeah,
introduce yourself. Yeah.
hey everyone, am I audible properly?
Yes, to
Yeah,
me at least.
okay. Yeah, so I started my journey at IIT Kanpur back in 2008. I did my bachelor's from there, and I started my professional career as credit risk analyst. And the field itself at that point wasn't known as data science or machine learning in general. It was very field specific. People who were doing statistical analysis in healthcare, they will be known with different name. What I was doing was known as credit risk analyst, and the field fascinated me and I wanted to study that further. I went for my master's from Indian Statistical Institute, Calcutta, and post that this was something which I did not want to limit to working on a single problem with some organization. I rather wanted to teach that to a larger set of audience. And then I met with Atash and we started Advancer almost 6 years, 6+ years now,
Seven,
Atash.
7 years ago.
7 years, yeah, time goes fast. So and within Advancer, my role is largely where I develop different ML and AI courses, and we keep on updating these as I really like along with teaching. I think passion is more about learning, and that is where my teaching desire comes from. And I think we'll have more longer interaction, as Dr. Ame kept on saying, when we really meet and you start taking up these courses. And within this session also, I'll meet again, talk more about what AI and ML is. Until then, I'll hand it back to Atish.
So Lalit, actually, you can just hang in there because we have kind of reached that section itself.
Oh, okay, cool.
So if you can take it up from here. So I'll
Okay,
just go on
so
mute and then come back
sure.
later on.
Yeah. Atish, will we be able to see the chats of attendees?
Uh,
You are on mute, Atish.
we can
Hello.
we'll be able to see the chats. So when you
Okay.
ask this question, they'll be putting it up in the chat. I think on the
Okay.
questions will be there.
I actually don't have option to see everyone's chat.
I'll, I'll just get that done. Yeah, you should be able to see it now.
Just a moment.
So I think in the
Okay. If
questions,
I select
box.
panelist or all, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah, sorry for this small pause in the discussion. So yeah, let's start with the question. All of you are here uh, for looking into this course, as in what exactly are we teaching? Those questions will take up. What I would like to start with your thoughts on what is AI. Everybody keeps on talking about it. What do you think is AI? What are your thoughts? And there are no right and wrong answers. We are just having a discussion. You can put your thoughts on chat.
So what we'll
Yeah,
do is we'll just pause here for a few seconds, wait to
yeah,
collect those responses, and then, read out a few and probably move forward after that.
sure.
So you guys
Let's
can
go
all
ahead.
put in your responses into the questions or chat box and we'll look at the same. In case any one of you right now wants to speak and explain the same, do let me know and we can unmute you, but we'll just restrict that to 1 or 2 people. So if someone wants to speak and update us, please let us know.
To get you started, as in if you're wondering what do you write, you can give me examples where you suspect or you've seen AI being used, or in general, if you have some kind of definitions coming ahead. Making Rahul says making advanced decision basis of historical data. Naveed says AI is for making manual tasks automated and bringing ease to life. Machines doing our work. Okay, that's a very succinct summary. So if I am reading it right, you're saying that AI and ML is a way of automating the tasks which humans do. And the way to do that, automation is about essentially taking decisions, isn't it? You figure out what you want to do next, and then you take that action, and then you go forward from there. So, in order to automate that, AI has to extract some kind of patterns. It needs to learn how to take those decisions. I would like to take up one example here. Imagine that I was some bank manager, and my call is to decide when somebody applies for a loan whether to give them a loan or not. And I know this might feel like a little digression from what we are discussing here, but can you tell me, as my job to decide whether somebody who is applying for a loan, whether I should give them a loan or not, what I should base my decision on? Mhm. Do you agree that credibility, CIBIL score, loan history? Okay, so all of these say that the customer should be able to pay back their loans, isn't it? Right? Let's say, hypothetically, I am not aware of all these AI and ML new technologies which are coming around. I simply learned this intuition over time. I've been part of the process. I've seen people taking up their loans. Some of them end up paying and some of them don't. So I've developed some kind of intuition as to what kind of people with different say income backgrounds, different educational background, different purpose of loans, whether they are able to pay or not. I've developed some kind of intuition. Okay. Now, for various reasons, this is not something which can be scaled. The reasons can be that my experience, my intuition, maybe within my branch, within my area, I have fantastic intuition about whenever I look at a loan application, my guesses are always right. But if I go to another area, my guesses might not be right. Also, as a human, I will not be able to update my intuition very fast. What do I mean by updating my intuition? Let's say my intuition is based on last 10 years patterns that I have been seeing. 10 years back, somebody owning a smartphone could be a very smart phone, could be a indicator of their financial well-being. Does that hold today as well? Yes or no? Not really, right? Everybody has access to more affordable smartphones and internets and so on. So that indicator is not that valid anymore. And as time and the technology is progressing, these changes are coming faster and faster and faster. And as a human, it is becoming very difficult for me to adapt to things that fast. There are a couple of challenges. As human, of course, our intuitions are very good. We are much better than any computer out there learning and so on. However, my limitations are that I cannot adapt that fast. I have my own biases, and I definitely cannot scale well. Uh, doesn't matter how well I am making my guesses, I won't be able to process millions of loans every day, right? So the one key factor where AI dominates is the way it can scale well. Next, I'm going to look at some example where I would like to amplify this part where how AI does better and at scale the same task which humans can also do, but not at that scale. Coming to you, the first example. Okay, Atash, can you move to next slide? Or will I be able to move this? Or should I share my own screen?
Move if you need, or maybe if you want to share your own screen, let me know.
Uh, okay,
I'll, I'll just move to the next screen.
sure. So here, if many of you, if not Facebook, there are a lot of other social media networks that we are part of. And in Facebook specifically, whenever we now upload photos, there are suggestion that this person has this, and we can tag them automatically. Whereas earlier it used to be that we'll manually tag pictures with whoever is part of the pictures. Now, of course, as humans, I can do that, but to a very limited extent. The Facebook system's AI called DeepFace, it was trained on 4 million images, right? And let alone recognize, I don't think I've ever met these many people in my life, and I'm not going to meet these many people. So this AI was trained on data which is much beyond the capacity of any human being. And these are very powerful systems. So DeepFace is a neural network. If that term is not familiar with you, it's a very big set of equations, to simplify it bluntly, which has 120 million parameters. Again, this essentially says that it's a very huge decision systems, and it identifies faces with much more higher accuracy than human or comparable to humans. The human system or human accuracy comes out to be around 97.53%, where a deep face is 97.35%, very close to the way humans perform the accuracy level. In fact, that also tells you that in many cases it might be performing better than humans. And this recognition is irrespective of at what angle you are uploading those pictures. Those who are using Facebook, you would know that. And this happens at the fraction of seconds across millions of people who are live on Facebook. The another example, so this is one example where computer vision is being used in a specific case. Another example, which is again many of us in India are familiar, is Netflix, their recommender systems. And at the face of it, it seems something very naive, very simple, something that we have gotten very used to, especially in lockdown, right? Uh, when there is no other entertainment, you go on Netflix or any other streaming systems. But this so-called naive recommender systems essentially delivers $1 billion value uh, in terms of customer retention to Netflix, with the money which they would have otherwise spent on customer acquisition. And 80% of streaming happens because of this recommender systems for Netflix. And as such, let's say I'm your friend and I see what kind of shows you're watching, I can probably make a recommendation. But when I have to do this for 180 million odd customers, which Netflix has, and it's growing every day, you need much more than your friends recommending things for you. This recommender system is made up of 1,300 recommender clusters. And this is so refined. Netflix has 2,000 taste groups. It's not that I like horror movies or I like action movies or I like drama or I like romantic movies and so on. They have refined this to such an extent that there are 2,000 very different taste groups that they have recognized. And the recommendation happens on various things. It's not just about new movies which are being recommended to you, it's also about ranking. So there are different rows that you see in Netflix recommended systems, right? There is one, continue watching, there is trending now, there is uh, different genres rankings are also there. So it's not about just recommending, it's also about whatever fits on your screen. So which top 5 within that category needs to be shown to you, and that's very finely curated, and it's not something which one human alone can do. An AI system does that. Now coming to more use cases which are not so mainstream yet in India, going to Google Assistant, or more as they shown in their Google I/O last year, Google Duplex. If How many of you saw that video or saw that talk, Google I/O? Sandeep, you're unable to hear. Uh, I'm not sure. I think, am I audible to everyone else?
Yeah, you are. I think Sandeep faced a internet issue.
Okay, so Sandeep, maybe if you look at your network issues, or maybe just reconnect, things should be sorted for you. Okay, so in Google I/O systems, we saw that just by saying something, you can book appointments in restaurants, you can set up reminders and whatnot. And the interaction with Google Duplex is human-like, as if someone is sitting at the other end of your phone and talking to you and taking your instructions and then following up with task. Now, this here is not just about scale, it's about seamlessly a machine understanding what you're saying. Not And the question is not just about understanding the language. Imagine how vastly our accents differ across the regions within India itself, and Google is getting better and better at understanding what you're saying, much better than probably 2-3 years back, when all of these solutions started to come. Right? My voice is breaking. I'm not sure. I think some of you are facing this issue, but Sandeep, you're all good now. Okay. So yeah, beyond scale, the other capabilities which machines are able to do better is understanding multiple of different accents, inflections, which natural human voice can have, and then look back in the data set what task we are referring to and take an action. Right now, the examples that we have taken have mostly been look like software driven, as if some table lookup happens and then some actions are taken. Moving ahead, if you look at another very interesting use case which Amazon is coming up with, Amazon Go store. How many of you heard about Amazon Go? I don't think they have launched everywhere. I am aware of 4 stores that they launched in Chicago a while back. So Amazon stores are where you don't have you just go there, you pick up stuff, put it in your cart, and you check out yourself and go. And this is a fusion of sensors along with how AI is being used. And that is where a lot of use cases that you get to hear, where the sensors data, it could be a camera, it could be some pose estimation and so on. Different kind of sensors are there, which collect a lot of data, which then is fed into AI systems, which recognize what kind of products you're putting up, what are their prices, what could be their weights, and now are you ready to check out or not. And the similar similar use case could be uh, your self-driven car. Again, sounds a very different use case, but essentially that is also a sensor fusion with MLAI techniques, which eventually gets realized in terms of something which we used to require humans for. We still do, but machines are getting better at it. Another aspect of AI is that people usually say that fine, AI can, to an extent, automate or do the task which humans can do at scale, but do they have emotional intelligence? Can they have, or can they hold conversation with us the way I will converse with a friend, where there can be sarcasm, there can be humor, and of course we are not there yet, but you will see those attempts being made, and we keep on seeing these examples where and you converse with Siri or any other such agents, and you can ask them to tell me a joke, or you can even say that I'm not or feeling too happy about it. Can you show me something for to cheer me up? And these interactions, I agree, they are still at a very primitive stage, but we are reaching there. That, I think that's the next frontier to uh, where a lot of improvements is going to come up. In fact, if those of you who have been researching AI field, a name Enru Ng comes to mind, and he, along with some of his colleagues, launched a company which is focused around work based on emotional intelligence, where they launched a chatting platform which helps people struggling with mental issues, which can counsel them to an extent, and provide them with resources to do better. Uh, Now, so to summarize all this, if we now look back and try to answer the question, what is AI? We can say that, can we go to the next slide? Yeah, we can say that AI is the ability of machine to perform cognitive tasks commonly associated with humans, where AI can learn to understand the underlying patterns. To start with, it's not that we make a computer and the moment it comes out of the manufacturing unit, it knows how to do these tasks. We are building systems which can eventually learn if we expose them to enough number of examples, and then translate the same learning into action. And a lot of things get used. The mathematics, the understanding of the domain, the computer technology, the software, the sensor fusion, a lot of things go into the system. But eventually it's about trying to emulate what humans can do. Now, that is where the hype has been around, right? Whenever we talk about AI, we talk about these kind of use cases, that AI can recognize faces, it can talk to you, it can take your appointments, it can drive your car and whatnot. However, ML and AI, apart from the hype, is not just about this. ML and AI, for example, when I was introducing myself, I mentioned that when I started my career, the term data science or machine learning or artificial intelligence were not that common. And but the statistics, the mathematics of building predictive system was still around, and there is huge area where these systems are actually applied in the work. Not everybody in AI ML is working on self-driving cars or building computer vision systems. A lot of work goes into building systems which can identify who is going to default on your loans, given your medical history, how susceptible you might be to a certain disease, given medical images, whether you have a certain disease or not, given traffic conditions, how much time it's going to take for you to travel from point A to point B. So beyond AI, there are a lot of work beyond the discussion that we had. There are a lot of work on ground which is being done with systems which are not as much talked about. And to have that discussion, I will hand it over to Dr. Amey. And in that process, I think he will also answer the question about which many of you might have, that what is machine learning, what is data science, and what is artificial intelligence? What's the difference in that to you, Dr. Amey?
Yes, thank you, Lalit. So, Lalit has already explained AI with some motivating example and have given you some idea about what AI is. So, one of the reasons you would wonder what has happened in last few years that AI is becoming so popular, so household name. Okay, so if you think of ourselves as a human, we are born with these five sensors. So all of you know, right? Hearing, touch, speech, taste, and so on. So we gain our intelligence through the experience that we earn while we are growing up, and then we learn how to react either through our own experience, or we learn from our parents, our teachers, and so on. So last so many years, computer scientists are trying to see how we can give the same kind of experience and same capability of learning to computers. And what made AI, in a way, it is becoming more and more household is because of these sensors that are now getting around. So if you see, forget everything else, just your mobile, it has few tens, if not few hundreds of sensors, depending on what kind of mobile you use. Even a simple old Nokia mobile has a few sensors around. Okay, so these sensors are now producing a lot of data. And as Lalit was saying, now this data can be analyzed to find patterns, to find anomalies. And in effect, now our computer systems are quite capable of processing millions and billions of data points, and that is where they are learning in some sense. So this name artificial intelligence, that it's also controversial. Many people don't like it. But let's leave it at that. It is becoming popular. So if you look at AI, there are we are showing three different senses here. One is about vision and listening. So you sense, you see things, or you listen to things. And then this is where computer vision and audio processing techniques are becoming popular. Okay, you might just now you heard about deepfake, but there are nowadays these technologies which can synthesize human voice. In fact, not just any human voice, they can tune it. Someone else can speak like as if I am speaking, and you can make an audio in the voice of Barack Obama or maybe Donald Trump. And on one side, yes, it's a nice technical breakthrough, but on the other side, it is also creating new problems for mankind. I mean, if someone calls you, how do you know it is Amitabh Bachchan calling from KBC or some of your friend fooling you? Then you just sense, and after that you have to comprehend. Means what is you have sensed, you also have to understand. Okay, so this is where NLP comes into play. So you, if you are scanning some document or looking at some signboards, then you have to understand what is written on it. So to get the characters and words, vision will help. But what is the meaning of the word? What is the meaning of the sentence? that is where natural language processing is important. And similarly, once you have understood something, you want to store it. So humans are very good at storing data in our brains, and it's still a mystery how we store it, though people have tried to simulate it and all. I mean, someday you just remember something which happened 20 years back without any stimulus. Okay, so that means brain was storing it. It was there. You probably did not know it, and some cue came up, and you recovered it. Okay, so machines are. I mean, we are trying to mimic brain in that sense, and all these neural networks that you hear about. That is some kind of one of the models of brain. And finally you comprehend, then you also have to act. So up till now we are getting experience and understanding it. So but now you have to think about future. So whatever knowledge we have gained, whatever information we have gained, how can we use it so that in future we act better? Okay, so like loan thing, yes, you see how many people have taken loans, you see what was their social background, what was their financial background, and so on. But using this past, you have to now predict the future. This is where machine learning and expert systems come up. So all these different areas, I mean, each of these area is a research area in its own in computer science, as well as electrical engineering, and in some cases other sciences also. And I'm not talking about the statistic part of it. I mean, maths is also involved, economics is also involved. So AI is, in that sense, it's an area where you need lot of knowledge about a large number of domains, and that is what is making it popular as well as sought after. Okay, so next slide please. So yes, one of question or confusion among many people. In fact, I would say I also was not very clear in early days. What is the distinction between AI, ML, deep learning, data science? In fact, deep learning was not even there around 6-7 years back. It has become popular last few years. So and this confusion is enhanced by the fact that people tend to say, oh, we are doing an AI ML course, we are going to learn AI ML. I mean, you never nowadays distinguish between AI and ML, and that makes it difficult to draw the boundaries. So this is a diagram that we got which explains it very succinctly. Okay, so in my words, what I say is artificial intelligence is something which is trying to learn or get experience. So intelligence is about learning from experience, and machine learning is one way of learning. Okay, so what is the other way? So at the top level, very crude kind of division, if you want to do, you can divide AI into two types of learning. One is data driven learning, other is rule driven learning. So when we talk about data driven learning, then machine learning is the most sought after solution. When we talk about rule based learning, so you have old style of school where you are writing algorithms, you are writing rules, and then you are acting on it. Okay, so to give a very day-to-day example, if we talk about just the domain of numbers. Okay, so when we talk about recognizing digits, this is a problem which computers have solved. I mean, you can write a digit in any way, and computers, if you scan it, your system will be able to understand whether you mean 1 or 10 or 7. In very few cases, computer systems get confused. But then those are the cases where even humans will get confused if someone writes 1 very similar to 7. Okay, but in almost all the cases, this problem is solved because there are post offices in US. In US Postal Service, the letters are sorted automatically based on pin code. So pin code gets scanned, and then letters automatically go into appropriate routing mechanism or path. Okay, so recognizing digit is a data driven problem. And if you think about in terms of a kid also, a small kid, when he sees his textbooks and then maybe on some television, computer, lot of time they see the digits, and slowly they start making this connection that, oh, this symbol means 1, this symbol means 2. On the other hand, do you think if we just keep showing examples, can a kid learn how to add? Okay, addition is something which is difficult to learn by examples. I feel it's going to be take hundreds, thousands, and millions of examples, and even then you are not sure. So again, while everyone can recognize digits, you will find that those who are not well educated, they will find it difficult to add large numbers or multiply large numbers. The reason is because while they see these patterns, it's not very obvious what are the rules, or learning rules from pattern is very difficult for these kind of problems, which are rule driven problem. So addition can be explained very easily by rules. So we start with single digit addition without carry, then we go with the single digit addition with carry, then we move on to two digit addition without carry, with carry, and so on. So there is this process involved, and it's a very algorithmic process, rule driven process. So those kind of intelligence can be given by writing programs manually, or by encoding rules. It may not be a full program, but at least rules have to be encoded. So AI, as I said, has two parts: data-driven AI and rule-driven AI. So this diagram shows you that a part in green is probably rule-driven, and part in orange is data-driven. But at the same time, it's not the dichotomy is not so clear. Sometimes in fact, most practical problems will have a mix. So if you think about a chess playing program, the basic moves have to be told using rules. After that, it learns the sequence of these moves, looking at data, looking at the game that have been played. And again, nowadays, these systems play against themselves. Basically, two versions of the same program will play against each other to learn new and more complicated moves. So that part is data driven. So two methods together come to give you better learning or intelligence experience. And nowadays we have these new concepts called deep learning. So deep comes from the fact that the technology you use, neural networks, they have deep layers, or the depth there is not one or two, it might be three or four or eight or 10. And then there are these feedbacks which also give you more depth. Okay. And data science in itself, now you can see that data science, there's a large overlap with AI, but then there is a part of data science which is outside AI, which really is the kind of thing Lalit was saying. So statistics, it was existing even before AI came into picture. So there are a lot of things where you apply these statistical uh, properties. You look at some kind of patterns within the data without resorting to any kind of programming or learning. Okay. So yes, so but now with the advent and with the machines becoming more and more powerful, data science is also becoming quite popular subject. The reason is, using computers we are scaling much faster than humans could scale, or humans could write programs to scale. Now using data itself, we are learning how to identify patterns. So, and then we are using this feedback to process even more data and becoming even more precise. Okay, so next slide please. Yes, so let's discuss what is data analytics. Next slide. So as you see, analytics is the application of basically programming and computer technology, statistics, and domain knowledge. So this is also important, because kind of insights that you have in a finance domain may be very different from the insight that you want to apply in an image domain. So the domain knowledge is also important. So, and these insights or analytics, basically the analysis has to be used to solve problems of business as well as industry. And the main goal of this analytics is to understand what is going on and then act on it. Basically, we can make better decisions. And in some, we can say that you are getting lots of raw data these days from so many sources. How you can convert it into knowledge, how you store it as well as process it, so that you can find patterns, you can find anti-patterns or anomalies. Okay, anomalies are also important. Sometimes you do not want to process regular data, you just ignore regular data, but if there is some anomaly, you want to act on it. Specific example could be these logs generated by web servers, or logs generated by system commands, and so on. So the moment you see there is some kind of unauthorized access happening, the patterns you find that they are not normal. Somebody is trying to type their password 20 times or incorrect password 20 times. These patterns have to be detected automatically, at the same time very effectively, very efficiently. Okay, you do not want to charge some genuine customer with the hacking attempt. On the other hand, you also want to save that customer's account by making sure anyone who is not genuine and trying to access the data is blocked as well as probably reported. Okay, so the goal is to improve business, society, and personal performance by understanding and gaining knowledge from data. So we, all of us, make these decisions from gut feels by looking at some problem, by looking at some pattern, and we make guesses. Okay, especially if you look at these kind of people put money on games and IPL kind of tournaments also. So we all like to guess, we all like to bet. Okay, and we all like to make decisions from guts, but while it is okay in game scenario or in small scale scenario, when we are talking about big businesses, the decisions have to be made using knowledge from whatever data exists and not by just gut feelings. Okay, next slide, please. Yes, so here is another slide which kind of explains the difference between data analytics and artificial intelligence. In particular, it is showing the different kind of complexities that exist in today's world. Okay, and the problem that we are solving. So not even now people do these standard reports by hand or either by using Excels, by running formulas by hand. So these standard reports, maybe day-to-day logs, and ad hoc reports are created. So these have less complexity and they can be done either manually or by using simple programs. Okay. Then comes this query resolution. So something like searching on Google. Okay. So from simple queries, answering from small number of documents, nowadays it is increasing. The complexity has been increasing, and because the amount of data is increasing, so you want very efficient solutions for query resolution as well. Statistical analysis is there. So all this is part of data analytics, where you have a lot of data, you want to arrange it, you want to convert it into knowledge, and then you talk about solutions or resolutions to whatever challenges are there. Okay, when we come to artificial intelligence, we are not just reporting what is there, we are not just processing what is present, we are now trying to guess what to do. Okay, when we say guess, again, not guess as a random guess, but we want to predict based on past, we want to predict the future. And this is where predictive analytics, machine learning, and deep learning is useful these days. Next slide, please. So yes, so here are lots of usage where we do data analytics, we apply data analytics. So if you are into sales domain, and if a customer comes, so here the example shows that customer wants to buy burger, and you have to analyze, and McDonald's has been doing it for so long. They have analyzed that, okay, they can easily sell fries along with the burger, and most customers feel happy if you give them fries. It increases the sale as well as the revenue. On the other hand, they have also realized that many customers would like to convert their small order into big order by adding some value added products like in this case cold drink or ice cream. So there are these happy meals. So rather than buying solutions individually, you are selling them a complete solution, a complete meal. You can think about when someone is buying a mobile, most of the time if you buy it from Amazon or Flipkart, they will also suggest that you buy the tempered glass or mobile cover or some kind of accessories. Okay, so these things are adding the value, the items which are going to add value to whatever you have bought. And similarly, they can also suggest the next improved version or some kind of solution around the product. So this is one of the examples of data analytics application. Other could be one of the means, I also always have this feeling that the moment I join a mobile company, before I join them, they send me a lot of offers, do this, do that, we will give you this much discount. The day I join them, all these offers stop. Okay, they dry out. Okay, And this is a challenge for many of the companies, that how do they retain their customers once they have got it? How do they make sure that if someone is planning to leave them, how to identify those signs and do something so that this movement is stopped? So this could be a challenge for an HR in a company, or it could be a challenge for a big company to retain their customer to from going to competitor. So this is called churn management. Again, you are looking for patterns which will give you signs that some employee or some customer is dissatisfied and they could potentially move to elsewhere. We all know about loans. We talked about it. So these days, all of you know that any loan or any credit card, it gets approved based on your credit ranking. And that is why it is very important that you pay all your dues on time, not just credit card dues, but other loans and even any other financial transactions. So people, in fact, government agencies as well as private agencies in some countries, they keep tab on all your spending habits. Okay, and accordingly you get credit cards or loans. So even if you have bought a car loan and you default on it, later if you go for a home loan, it will be difficult. The bank will know about it. And finally, we already discussed this healthcare. In particular, in today's world, this healthcare has become even more important. We are trying to look for patterns. We are trying to see how this COVID-19 curve is moving, understand it. Unfortunately, things have not been very successful here, but still there have been many diseases, many illnesses where data sciences have helped a lot in coming up with the cure. Okay, so all these are just four sample areas where data science has its application, and we also use it in our day-to-day life. I mean, we do it at a small level personally, but big companies use data sciences for many of their applications. So with this, I would like Atash to take over. I think Atash, please continue.
Thank you, Dr. Amay,
Thank you
for
very
all
much.
the insights, and thanks, Lalit, also. So let's, I mean, I'm sure all of you have gotten some really good insights and clarifications on these terms, terminologies, what do they exactly mean, how do things work in this world of AI and data analytics. So let's now, move on to this section on careers, which I'm sure a lot of you have interest in, know what exactly is going on in terms of, careers and jobs in this field. So first and foremost, I mean, what's exactly the market buzz on AI and data analytics around the world? So as per the International Data Corporation, the spending on cognitive and AI systems worldwide is going to increase by 4 times, from about $19 billion in 2018 to $78 billion in 2022. And that's a phenomenal increase and growth which is happening in this industry. A survey was done by Ernst & Young, one of the world's leading consulting companies, and what they found was that 56% of senior management in various companies actually say that the lack of talent, skilled talent in this field in AI and analytics is actually the biggest barrier to implementing AI in their organization. They are just not able to find the right people to do so. And as per IBM, there's a huge demand for data scientists, data developers, data engineers, AI, which is going to reach nearly 700,000 openings in the next 1 or 2 years. Tencent, which is one of China's largest conglomerates, says that the demand for AI and analytics talent will cross 1 million people around the world. Again, a very, very large number for one single field. A survey by Analytics India magazine says that there are more than 90,000 positions related to data science and data analytics, which are being advertised every month around the world. And again, that just shows you the quantum of demand that exists for people who are skilled and trained in this area. A report by Times of India some time back said that data scientists earn much more than CAs and IT professionals now, and that's absolutely correct. We'll be looking at some of the salary data very shortly, and that's where you will realize the same. And as per Economic Times, there's a 400% increase in demand for AI and data analytics skill sets in India. So quite clearly, there's a huge buzz and hype in this field, especially around the demand for people who are trained, skilled in this field. And I think, if we look at some other reports from, LinkedIn or the World Economic Forum, what LinkedIn says is that the top 20 emerging jobs, machine learning engineer and data scientists are the two top most emerging jobs there. And what is the jobs landscape going to be in 2022? So the emerging roles, look at that. The top 10 emerging roles, first two are data analysts and AI and machine learning specialists. And the top 10 declining roles are actually all jobs which are getting replaced by artificial intelligence systems, which are getting automated out, right? So there's a clear shift in terms of the way that the jobs landscape is going to look like. So a lot of jobs will get completely destroyed or get replaced in the next 10 to 15 years, and many of those many jobs which do not exist today will come into picture, right? So there's a huge change which is happening, and that is where upskilling and reskilling yourself is the most important thing that you can do today. The most important investment that you can make is in yourself in terms of upskilling and reskilling. Again, this survey or report by Analytics India magazine shows the kind of job trends which exist in the world of AI and data analytics. So there's been a consistent increase, almost a 5 times increase in jobs available in this field over the last 5 years. Over the last 6 months, there's been a small dip because of COVID, but again, the jobs are coming back, and we believe they are coming back very, very fast. And soon they'll be above the pre-COVID peak by January or February. What are the kind of average salaries in India? So, the average salaries in the world of artificial intelligence, and this is for people with, let's say, about 2 to 3 years of experience only, ranges between 11 lakhs to 16 lakhs, depending on the city, right? So a person with 2 or 3 years of experience is earning well about 10-15 lakhs per annum, whereas in the IT industry, such a person would probably not even have reached 4 lakhs. So there's a huge gap in terms of what a person gets paid in artificial intelligence and data analytics versus what a person gets paid in other fields today, right? Especially in the IT field. And some of the trends, the way that salaries have moved over the last 3 to 4 years, and most of the jobs today are concentrated in the region of, let's say, about 1 to 3 years of experience, which is where you'll see that most of the salaries are between 6 to 10 lakhs per annum. 30% of salaries for advertised open jobs are in the region of 6 to 10 lakhs, but a massive, more than, I would say, 20% is for people earning above 15 lakhs per annum, right? So again, huge potential for someone to grow in terms of their salary levels once they make this shift into a career in AI. Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai today are one of the largest generators of jobs in the field of analytics and artificial intelligence, followed by Hyderabad, Pune, Chennai, and then some of the other cities. And experience wise, you can see that there's a very good spread in terms of the jobs which are available for different levels of experience. So a lot of freshers come to us and say, I am a fresher, who's going to give me a job? But as you can see here from this chart, that more than almost 15% of open jobs are actually for freshers. And for those between, let's say, 1 to 5 years of experience, close to 35% of jobs are meant for people in that range. And then if you have more than, let's say, 5 to 10 years level of experience, again, you are looking at close to 35% of jobs available over there. And even for those who are at a senior level, right, at a team lead level, management kind of level, more than 15% of jobs are available for such kind of people too. So across the board, companies are hiring at all kinds of experience levels. So I'll quickly come to the the various programs that IIT Kanpur E&ICT Academy offers in association with Edvancer. So the first one is the advanced certification in AI and machine learning, right? So what is this program about? Through this program, you can become a full stack machine learning and artificial intelligence expert and receive a certification from E&ICT Academy, IIT Kanpur. Here, through this program, you learn how to automate decision making, create human level intelligence in systems through machine learning, through deep learning, and through data analysis using tools like Python, TensorFlow, Keras, and SQL. So this program is not a program where you just learn the tools or you just learn the theory. You learn both of them together, how to combine the two of them to actually create systems which are at human level intelligence and create these artificial intelligence systems. And how you do that is by learning through over 20 real world case studies and working on 10 real world projects, which will help you create an AI ready CV. So once you have worked on all these projects, you can put these projects on your CV, and that acts as hands-on experience on your CV, which definitely attracts a lot of employers and recruiters. And the program is designed in such a way that it will create AI experts who can start working on their job on day one, right? So you don't need to be trained by anyone else in these skills anymore. And this is what companies and employers love. They want people who can start working on the job on day one, who can start delivering on projects on day one, right? They don't want to waste time. They are completely swamped with a lot of projects which are coming to them, and they don't want to waste time trying to train someone in this. So while they look for hiring experience, given the very new nature of this field, experienced people are hardly available or are extremely expensive. So the next best bet for them is to hire people who are trained in this field. And that is where they come to, institutes like us to look for people who are well trained. And obviously anyone clearing an IIT Kanpur program is definitely going to be well trained. So this program is designed and taught by IIT Kanpur faculty and industry experts of Edvancer. So you get best of both worlds. You get to learn from some of the top faculty of IIT Kanpur, and you also get to learn from industry experts who are working in this field for a significant number of years. So what exactly do you learn in this program? So we have two options of learning. One is the live instructor-led online class, and one is the self-paced video-based plus faculty support option. So in the live instructor-led online class, you go through 150 hours of live classes held online, which are instructor-driven, where either an IIT Kanpur faculty or an industry expert will be training you live. And you can easily ask your questions and doubts anytime during the class and have them answered, just like a normal physical classroom. Plus, you get to work on over 350 hours worth of projects and assignments hands-on. So this course is extremely practical in nature. It is designed in a way that you will learn how to implement all that you learn in theory, right? It's a 25 weekend program spread over about 7 months, where every Saturday and Sunday you spend 3 hours learning online live, and after the end of this 7 months you get about 3 months time to complete your projects. We have a comprehensive learning management system where you get access to all the material that you need to go through this program, and each and every class also gets recorded. So just like I'm recording today's class, each class will get recorded and you will get access to that class, access to those videos post the classes, so that you can go through it anytime you want, right? If you have missed a class, you can go through it. If you want to revise after attending what actually was covered in the class, you can go through it. Post the program completion, when you're preparing for interviews, you can go through those videos again and again. So it will be like having the learning with you forever. At the end of the program, you get the advanced certification from IIT Kanpur post completing certain number of projects. And the fee for this program is 1,24,990 post a 40% discount, which is being offered for Diwali till the 10th of November. And you get to pay in interest-free installments through our financing partners. Right now, all you need to do is reserve your seat by paying just 10,000 rupees plus taxes, and the rest of the fee can be paid in interest-free installments over the duration of the course. In the self-paced option, you don't attend live classes online. You go through recorded class videos which have been held in the previous batches, and you can learn at your time and pace. So there are no deadlines, no timelines. You can learn as slow as you want or as fast as you want. And since you're not attending live classes, you obviously can't ask your doubts live, but you can post them on our forum and you will get a response within 24 hours. And you can also have email based interactions or scheduled phone call interactions with the faculties at Edvancer. Everything else remains the same except for the fee, which is 74,990 plus taxes post the 40% discount on Diwali, and you again get to pay in interest-free installments. Right. What exactly do you learn in this program? So the main topics are machine learning in Python, deep learning with TensorFlow and Keras, which is actually what is artificial intelligence, and data analysis using SQL, for which you will receive videos. So right from, we will be starting right from basics onwards. We will give you a great introduction to machine learning. Then we'll cover a lot of basics about Python, basics of statistics, basics of machine learning. So a lot of time will be devoted to strengthening your basics. Obviously, a lot of you will come without any background here, and that is absolutely fine, because we do not expect you to have any prior knowledge of any of these things beforehand. And that is why we'll be spending a lot of time in strengthening your basics before we get into the advanced algorithms, which are actually what is machine learning or what is deep learning, right? So all in total, the machine learning module will be about 78 hours, the deep learning module will be about 66 hours, and the data analysis using SQL module will be about 6 hours of videos. Then we have the program on advanced certification in data analytics. So what is this program and how exactly is it different from the artificial intelligence program? So advanced certification in data analytics is the program where you can become a full stack data analytics expert and similarly receive a certification from IIT Kanpur. Now, here you are going to learn how to bring out insights from data and be able to predict what could happen in the future through learning concepts like predictive analytics, data analysis, data visualization, which is creating interactive charts, dashboards, stories of your data using tools such as R, Tableau, and SQL. And similarly, you will learn through real world case studies, work on real world projects, and create a data analytics ready CV. Now, for this program, you don't really require any kind of technical or programming background at all, right? So this is a program which is suitable for anyone who comes with a completely non-technical background also. Again, similarly, two different options of learning. So in the live instructor-led online classes, you have 66 hours of live classes being held online, plus 24 hours of videos to go through, plus 90 hours of projects and assignments, totaling about 180 hours of learning. It's a 12 weekend, 3-month live schedule, plus 3 months for projects. And the fees for the live version are 74,990 plus taxes till 10th November. And you pay in interest-free installments again. For the self-paced version, it's 44,990 plus taxes. What exactly do you learn here? So there are three major modules again. One is predictive analytics in R, which will be done completely live in the live version, where again we'll cover a lot of basics on data analytics. We'll train you on the R tool and language. We'll cover things like data cleaning and data visualization, train you on basic statistics and various advanced statistical techniques of analyzing data. And then for Tableau and SQL, you'll be receiving comprehensive videos through which you can learn these tools, which are actually very simple to learn. Who are the faculty? So these are going to be top class IIT Kanpur faculty and industry professionals who have anything between 3 to 10 years of experience in data analytics and AI across different kinds of verticals and domains, be it marketing, be it banking, be it supply chain, retail, telecom, etc. So they have a lot of cross domain experience, and not only do they have experience in the industry itself, but they also have years of training experience with them. So they have been working with us for multiple years and they have trained thousands of students between them. So not only do they know the subject, but they also know how to impart the knowledge of that subject to people who are new to it. And that is very important from a faculty perspective. In terms of their educational backgrounds also, they come from some of the best institutes in India. So today I can proudly say that some of the best faculty actually train at Edvancer in this industry. Apart from this, Edvancer has done a lot of training and has helped a lot of companies in hiring data analysts and AI experts. So some of the companies that we have worked with are part of the Fortune 100 and Fortune 500 list, and it's companies like EY, Deloitte, PwC, GE, Colpal, Genpact, Microsoft, etc. Right. So I'll just before opening up the floor for Q&A, and I can already see some questions have been asked. So I'll just open up the floor for Q&A in a minute. But before that, there are some common questions that people do keep asking us, and I want to clarify that right at the beginning, right? So one of the most common questions, and I'm sure a lot of you are preparing to ask that, is what background or prerequisite is required. Now, for the AI program, ideally those who have an engineering or technical or a BSc, MSc, Math, Stats, Physics, Computer Science background should take the AI program. Those who are from a non-technical background or have an MBA and have worked post that MBA for a couple of years or so should look at the data analytics program, right? A basic programming background is always going to be useful, but it is not mandatory. So I don't think any of you needs to worry about not having a basic programming background at all. Another question that we keep getting is, how will this help me, or these programs help my career? How will data analytics AI help me? Right. Now, what does a person require from his job or career? Right. We all require three things. One is that we keep growing in our career. Two is we keep getting good increases in what we are getting paid to work for, and most importantly that we feel happy and satisfied doing the work that we are doing. Now this field of AI and data analytics actually provides all three. This is a fast growing field, which means that as you keep learning, your career will also keep growing. You will keep making more and more important contributions. As we have already discussed, the field pays very, very well, and every year people working in this industry currently are getting anything between a 15 to 25% pay hike, and if you make a jump, you shift your companies, you can expect 50% pay hikes also. And lastly, the work that you are doing can actually be world changing. It can impact the fortunes of the company for which you're doing it for, or it can completely change the way things are being done in the world, right? Now imagine someone developing a self-driving car and succeeding quite well, right? That's going to be absolutely world changing, and it's going to be very impactful and very satisfying for any person doing such kind of work. Even if it is not world changing, but it is definitely going to impact how your company is going to perform, because that is the end goal of AI, data analytics, data science, right? It is to improve performance eventually. So you are going to get a lot of satisfaction from your work. So when you get all three, why would you not even look at it as a career, right? Now another question is, what is the salary I can expect after the programs? Now, what we have seen is that our students get anything between a 40 to 100% pay hike in their salaries once they make the switch. Your exact salary, I cannot say, because it will depend a lot on the background, the company, the job role, the location, etc. Right? So there are significant factors that go into deciding this, but this kind of range in the hike is what you can probably look at. And do we provide placement assistance? Yes, we do. Edvancer will help you with your resume preparation, your interview preparation. And a lot of companies, from top IT companies to data science startups, also come to Edvancer for hiring. So we keep you updated on such opportunities on a weekly basis, and will forward your CVs to any companies or any of these companies to which you would like to apply to. And then we will help these companies shortlist and take your interviews, right? So finally, I'll open up the floor for Q&A. And in the meantime, just a few examples of people, what they were doing in the past and what they are doing post our programs. right? So now that I have opened up the floor for Q&A, there's just one thing. Make sure that you ask your question only once, in the sense that I will be taking up the questions, we will be taking up the questions in the order that they are asked. So first asked, first answered. So if you find that your question is not being answered, do hold on. It's probably lower down the queue and we will come to it. All right. So, Dr. Amay and Lalit, in case, I need your help on answering any questions, I'll just ask you to jump in if that's okay.
Sure, sure. I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah. So the first
Yes,
question
fine.
comes from, thanks, Dr. Amay. So the first question comes from Balaji. Balaji, you have 14 plus years of experience in software Q&A. And your question is, can you switch careers and get a QA related AI job? And would we be providing job support? So Balaji, the whole point here is that first of all, your sector in which you're working, right? The software Q&A, quality assurance, testing, etc. That is largely getting automated. And a lot of that automation is being done via AI and robotic process automation. So it is an absolutely a necessity for you to look at upskilling yourself, right? Because you have a long period of your work life still left, and this is not all that you're going to be able to do going forward. So one of the best way for you to utilize your background, your experience, would be to add the AI skill sets on top of that, and actually work in automating a lot of the work that you have been doing till now, right? So that is where you will be a perfect fit, and you can definitely get into a quality assurance or testing related AI role. And as I already described in the FAQs, that we do provide that job support that you will need going forward.
So I wanted to add one thing here. In
Sure.
your career these days, a lot of technological advances happen. Not just AI and ML. Time to time, we need to skill up ourselves. Whatever job we are into, at times we end up solving same kind of problems, and the skill set that we have kind of become stagnant. So here the advice is that if you're looking to skill up, and which you should be from time to time, and the one skill that you would choose right now is AI and ML, because it's not a separate domain. It's a new vertical across different organizations. Just like IT probably was a domain couple of decades back, but now IT is part of every organization that you can think of, and AI and ML is heading the same way. So, in my personal opinion, whatever domain you're part of, if you're looking to skill up, AI and ML is one of the skill set that you need to add to your current skill sets.
Yeah. Thanks for that, Lalit. Sai, your question is, the fee seems to be too high for you. And Sai, the point is, this is a program which is being offered by IIT Kanpur. Now, IIT Kanpur's brand on your CV, the certification, and the fact that you have gone through a tough program with IIT Kanpur and cleared it will act as a significant multiplier for you in being able to make this shift of your career into AI. And the fee that you are paying here versus the salary hikes that you can expect or the salary that you are going to get, the fee is just a small fraction of that figure, right? So quite clearly, the payoff that you get on making this fee payment is going to be substantial. And obviously, you can make this fee payment through various installment facilities which we are offering, which is why we are offering it, to make it easier for you to pay, right? So I think you need to take a more comprehensive view on this rather than just look at the fee. Karthik, your question is Triple IT Bangalore versus IIT Kanpur versus Triple IT Hyderabad. Which certification has great value in market for jobs? So I think, Karthik, this question you can answer it yourself, right? What has a better brand value? Is it IIT or is it Triple IT, right? An IIT which has been around for decades, or triple IT, which has been around for much shorter duration. And to answer that question, all you need to do is go through the rankings of which are released by the government, the NIRF rankings, and you yourself will get that answer. Which certificate, which brand has a greater value to it. Harshit, your question is, will we provide job assistance for self-paced candidates too? Absolutely. So self-paced or live, it doesn't matter. You will get the same assistance, the same quality of training from us. Rajat, your question is, you have 12 plus years experience in IT service and delivery. Is it a good choice to shift now? So Rajat, again, I think there's no better time to shift than now, or no better time to upskill yourself than now. The more you delay, the more or I would say lesser are the chances for you to be able to make a more successful shift, right? You've already spent 12 years doing service and delivery in the IT industry, and you already know that this field of yours is getting a bit saturated, right? Where are the new pastures? Where are the new openings? Where is the growth? And the growth is in a field like AI and data analytics. So I think it's definitely uh, the best time to always upskill yourself is now, not later. Sandeep, a long question from you. You are a BTech holder having almost 9 years of experience, 3.5 years in Feed, Anambi, and have worked on various technologies like SAS, Java, Oracle, MySQL, .NET. Wow. And presently you're working as a defense officer in Indian Navy and looking after the HR database. You're planning to do a career transition more towards AI ML. And how will this certification help you in your career transition? So I think obviously, Sandeep, here the point is that you already have a lot of experience in various technologies from a programming standpoint, from a tech stack standpoint, and now you're working in the Indian Navy looking after databases. So you already have good background and good capabilities in this area. As far as a career transition is concerned, definitely this certification makes a lot of impact, right? Again, I mean, I am just probably reiterating the same point again. The whole uh, uh, the whole benefit of having an IIT Kanpur certification and program, apart from the strong learning that you get, is definitely the brand name on your CV, right? And that is where you can make a much better career transition than having any other kind of ordinary brand on your CV. Companies, recruiters across India and across the world know IIT, right? And if they know IIT, they will also look at your CV in a much more positive manner. Sai, I hope you got my response to your question. I had already answered that. If I haven't, then just put it up again and I'll take it up once I come to it again. All right. Rajat, I have already answered your question. Um, Jayesh, you would like to have a call with someone from our team who can guide you to take the decision in selecting the course? Definitely. So you are 33 years old, done your BCom, cleared in the second attempt, then went on to do an MCA from SMU, currently working into software implementation for education. So you're not exactly sure what you should do further to enhance your future career options. Sure, Jay. So I think, given the fact that you're already working in a technical area, you have your technical degree in the form of an MCA, the AI course is largely going to be suitable for you. But what you can do is connect with us on this number, and someone from our team will definitely be able to guide you. All right. So Sandeep, yeah, I got the point that you're looking at transiting from the government to corporates, and that is not something which is very difficult these days. There are a lot of examples which are already there and which you might already know of. So definitely this is something which is very, very manageable, Sandeep. Karthik, your question is, can we directly get a job in AI/ML with this certification? What will we be doing in that role? Okay. So one is obviously, yeah, with this certification, the entire at the end, your goal would be to get a job, and you can definitely do that as long as you have learned well, you have done well in the program, and we will be supporting you in looking for that job and getting that job. What you are going to do in an AI role, I'll just ask Dr. Amay or Lalit to, explain the same to you.
Yeah.
Lalit or
So
Dr. Amay? Yeah.
yeah, I can. Dr. Ame, would you like to take this?
Yes, so just 1 minute. So I will also share my webcam. See, again, different companies, they have different requirements. So, for example, if you look at Google and Microsoft, they are into two different domains. Both of them are using AI, and there are quite a bit of intersection between the two companies. But you will be doing work according to whatever company you join, what is their requirement. If you join a finance company, some kind of, let's say, JP Morgan or something, or even smaller companies or something in India like Reliance, they use a lot of AI tools and techniques, right? So it will depend on your role in a job. So secondly, as you said, can I get a job based on the certificate? So let me say something. Means again, we would like to say yes, our degree will give everyone a job, but at the end of the day, our degree, our certificate does not give even IIT Kanpur degree does not give job to 100% students. At the end of the day, companies are going to interview you. What we can provide you is best possible learning experience. We can give you contents, we can give you pointers to how to enhance your knowledge, but we cannot sit for interview for you. Okay, so you will get job when you answer the questions that are asked, when you kind of convince the recruiter that yes, you have learned and not just gone through and got a certificate. Okay, so just some example. I think recently Google is being pushing that they are not going to look at degrees. They are saying they are going to recruit people who are only 12th passed, provided the student or the person cracks their exam. So Google is going to conduct their own exam. I think they might have already started it by now. And does not matter whether you have degree from IIT Kanpur or triple IT Bangalore, or maybe some local college, or even if you don't have a degree, they say if you can solve our problems, we are going to recruit you. So knowledge is what is going to give you a job. We are all facilitators of that knowledge. Okay, second question I would like to, again, this kind of answer that I triple IT Bangalore versus IIT Kanpur, I mean, I would always like to favor IIT Kanpur being a faculty as well as a student from IIT Kanpur. But then I know there are people who are neither IITian and nor computer scientist, and the two major names, Satya Nadella, he is from Manipal, an electrical engineer, and Sundar Pichai, he is from IIT Kharagpur, but metallurgical engineering graduate, and both of them are at the top of the top companies in computer science domain. And even coming local, I know some of my faculty colleagues at IIT Kanpur, they are teaching computer science BTech, but they themselves have done BTech in, some have done in mechanical, some have done in production. So my summary, I would say, is that uh, if you get good opportunities, if you get good training, the chances are higher. Okay, but nobody can give you 100% guarantee that we will guarantee that this will happen. We will give you the chance, we will give you the training. Okay, you have to take the advantage of that. And as the other part, job, I said, it will depend on which company and which domain you go to. You'll have to work there.
Okay.
So Lalit, if you want
Uh,
to add something.
yeah, adding to what Dr. Ame said, from career progression perspective, what I've seen is you might be part of a job where you are starting as creating data visualization to draw insights, or you could be building machine learning models, or you could be building AI systems. Instead of there are a lot of factors which go into getting a job. Your skill set that you've developed, your background, and tons of other things. focus, what has helped a lot of our students is to focus on getting started in this, and then the growth opportunities are tremendous. If you from the very beginning focus that I want to get a job in Tesla and I want to start building self-driving car, that might be a difficult goal to achieve to start with, irrespective of where you're doing this course from. So focus more on getting started in the domain, get your foot in the door, and then the growth opportunities are tremendous. And depending upon where you're starting, your roles can be different.
Sure. Thanks, Dr. Amir and Lalit. I think that would have clarified a lot of doubts which people have here. Moving on, Saurav, your question is, you're a mechanical engineer, so can you join this course? Absolutely. There's no bar in terms of which engineering stream you come from. So don't worry about that. Ramkumar, your question is, how different is the AI course that you offered from the data science course offered by you in terms of content curriculum? And can I see someone directly learn AI without prior programming knowledge? Okay. So in the AI program, what we offer are these modules on machine learning, deep learning, and SQL, right? Whereas in the data science program, we offer the modules on predictive analytics and machine learning. So machine learning is kind of common to both, but on one end we have more of standard statistical analysis, which is predictive analytics and R in the data science program. And in the AI program, we have the higher end and more complex deep learning module, right? So that is the difference in terms of the content and curriculum. So in AI, you are obviously learning AI. In data science, you are not learning the AI part. And can you learn AI without prior programming knowledge? So programming is something, is a skill that you can always pick up, right? It's not something that is you need to learn from 6 years old, right? So whatever some other organizations may say on that, but this is something that you can always pick up given that you put in enough time to practice. So we do not expect anyone to have a prior programming background, and that is where we are going to teach you these languages right from the basics onwards. Of course, if you have some basic knowledge already, it's only going to help you, right? So Lalit, you want to add on to this?
Because it's about teaching programming, I think Dr. Amay will be the best to
Yeah,
add.
absolutely.
Right. So as you have seen the content that Atash showed earlier, we do have a basic programming part of our curriculum. So yes, we don't expect any programming language, and we will be covering things from very basics. Okay. So most of the concepts in Python language will be covered, which will be useful for AI and ML.
Thanks, Dr. Amay.
One point I wanted to add, I think whatever experience that I have had in training students, starting from training them in coding, the biggest challenge that people face is the hesitation which comes from their previous experiences, that programming is something which is not my cup of tea. And once that hesitation is gone, and you look at programming as more of logical way of solving problems, that attitude helps. And as Atash mentioned, that given that if you're facing any challenges and you're asking questions and you're being persistent about learning, I don't think is something that you cannot acquire as a skill. Programming is not something which some people have an innate capacity to learn and some don't. That's fine.
Thanks, Dr. Amay and Lalit. So next question is from Gaurav. Gaurav, you're a BCom final year student. Is data analytics good for you or future jobs for you? Okay. So I think what you're looking at this, Gaurav, is just from a placement or job perspective. But what you need to look at it is it first of interest to you, right? If this is not, if data analytics, analyzing data, predicting the future is not something that really interests you, anyways, you're not going to get a job, whoever teaches you. So first and foremost, do you have an interest? If yes, then you should definitely learn it. Because if you have the interest and you are learning it from, stalwarts like Dr. Amay and Lalit, definitely your learning is going to be of very high quality. And that is going to help you a lot in cracking the interviews. As a BCom final year student, this is probably a good time for you to start preparing for jobs which are going to come up in the future. And this is where you should definitely look at the program as long as you have the interest in it. Navya, your question is, do we have to pass 12th to join this course? Yes, Navya, I mean, at least you need to be pursuing your graduation or have done your graduation for this program. Harshit, your question is there a difference in the certification? No, there's no difference. It's the same single certificate. Ramkumar, your question is, will we be teaching the maths also? And should we be strong in maths to be successful in ML and AI? So again, I'll leave that question to Dr. Amay and Lalit.
Sorry, I kind of missed
So,
out on that question. Yeah, please go ahead, Doctor.
right, so I will first cover part two. Should one be strong in maths to be successful in ML and AI? So I would say if you are strong in maths and statistics, you will be successful in ML and AI. But the reverse is not necessarily true, as we will be discussing these techniques and we will be teaching these tools from very basics. So if you are not strong, you can pick up and still be successful. Okay, the only reason you may not be successful is that you do not know and you do not wish to learn. As long as you are interested, we will give you full support and you will get full opportunity to become successful. And we won't be teaching you complete math behind ML and AI. So once again, see, this is like around 150 hours of coursework, and ML and AI, they are now becoming a full BTech degree in itself in many of the colleges. So yes, doing everything may not be possible, but we will definitely be talking about motivational, I mean, what is motivation about behind certain techniques, and some bit of high level mathematics we will be discussing. But then many of the proofs and many of the reasons why certain thing is done certain way can become too complicated, which may not be useful from an industry point of view. It will be useful if you want to pursue a research career in ML and AI. And I will pass it on to Lalit to comment more.
Yeah, so from an industry perspective, from a career and industry perspective, there can be two steps to become an ML and AI professional. One is where, given a problem, you know what algorithms to use, which path of analysis to take, and you can implement using one of the tools. A second level above this will be where you know all this, plus you have some mathematical background to these algorithms, so that you know why you are turning some knobs and why you get a certain kind of results, and if you want to modify the algorithms in a certain way, you have that knowledge. And the first step, a lot of people in industry that I train, the kind of problem they're solving, the first step of comfort is also enough for a certain jobs. But of course, knowing what is happening at the back end, knowing the mathematical ideas which are driving these algorithms, is something which gives you an edge in terms of how you can grow in your career. So eventually, yes, you would need to develop that understanding, but it's not necessarily an hindrance to starting your career in ML and AI. Just that the level of jobs that you'll have access to might differ.
Thank you. So the next question comes from Sandeep. Sandeep, the criteria to get the certification so basically in the AI program, we have 10 different projects, out of which you will need to complete at least 5 projects to get your certificate. And in the data analytics program, there are 7 to 8 different projects, and you'll need to complete 4 projects out of those to get the certification. Uh, Harshit, your question is, will the self-paced have the videos from the same faculty as of live classes? So Harshit, you'll be getting in the self-paced program the videos from the previous batches, right? So it may not be of the same live class that is going on at that time. It will be from the previous batches where the best faculty have been teaching.
Basically, the current batch classes will become available for the next batch which starts.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so we have reached the end of the list of questions. If there are any further questions, please feel free to ask so quickly. Otherwise, it was great having all of you here, and thanks to Dr. Amay and Lalit for being here and spending their time and giving you all these insights.
Yeah, thank you for your time, guys, for the participants, also Dr. Amay and Atish. Okay.
Yes. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Thank you so much, Dr. Amay. And